Before we begin, I would like to advertise my books, Above Heaven and Dance of Frozen Death. If you like my takes on storytelling, please consider giving them a read. Links in the description. Now, on with the video.
You're missing the point.
Greetings, fellow mortals. Sometimes I have a hard time separating my love of storytelling with reality, especially when a public personality pops up that seems so over the top that I can hardly believe that he exists in real life. That was what happened with Andrew Tate. I swear to you that I never even heard of this guy before he blew up in popularity. Everyone started talking about this guy out of nowhere. He was constantly in the news. I saw clip after clip after clip of his terrible takes almost every single day. It was almost like he was imagined into existence by some random dude. Spoilers for Fight Club, by the way. You know, if you're one of the 2 people in the world that isn't aware of the plot twist of it. This is where my story-centered brain gets me into trouble, because this 100% reminds me of Fight Club. Andrew Tate was Tyler Durden brought to life in every single way possible. He appeared out of nowhere, he spouted a bunch of nonsensical BS. He presented a facade of this supposedly ideal form of masculinity. All the while, he's the exaggerated persona created by a deeply depressed man who questions his will to live. Because I don't know how you look at Andrew Tate and think that this guy isn't miserable whenever the cameras aren't rolling.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But to my shock, there are a collection of lost men out there that look at Tate like he's the next coming of Jesus. I can understand the combination of disgust, fear, and confusion most people feel. How can anyone believe the nonsense that Tate or other pickup artists say? They act like women are a separate species. Unfortunately, the solution is simple. Tate and personas like Tyler Durden speak so convincingly that it's hard not to believe them. They believe their own BS. They've deluded themselves. Never underestimate the power of public speaking. Don't forget how many terrible people gain popularity just because they can draw attention when they have a mic in their hands. From fighters like Conor McGregor to actors like Clint Eastwood. They speak, you listen. They believe, you believe. It's a powerful ability. The power to sell. The power to sway opinion. In a way, it's even a skill that I obtained when I was younger. One of the first jobs I ever had was talking to a lot of people. I taught martial arts to people. Yeah, I learned to fake confidence without an ounce of hesitation. You need to feel like you're always in charge. You know best. You keep people in order. Granted, my way was to teach kids how to hurt people, but never actually use it outside of self-defense, so you could argue that the context is very different than these other examples. But still, it's one of the reasons I always try to be nuanced and look at other opinions in my videos. I am very well aware that I have a tendency to speak in a way where I voice my opinion as though it is fact.
That's just an opinion, you see. That's why I prefaced it by saying I know I'm in the minority. Awkward.
The second reason that people like Tate gain a lot of popularity is because a lot of young men are lost. Is that a controversial statement at this point? I think it's pretty obvious. We live in a culture that's in a flux. Ruthless aggression, physicality, and even the ability to commit violence without actually committing violence are all valued less now than at any other point in history. Our society has evolved way faster than human nature actually has. There is no clear path to what is and what isn't a man, or at least a healthy man who contributes to making the world a little bit of a better place. It's one of the reasons that I think that Fight Club might be one of the best and most influential films to ever exist. They saw a problem way before it spiraled out of control. They're a collection of young men out there that are depressed and lost. A made-up, exaggerated personality gives these guys a seemingly viable path to expressing their manhood, meaning the Fight Club itself in the movie, or in real life, the pickup artist nonsense. All the while, the participants aren't realizing that they're spiraling out of control, that they're harming themselves both physically and mentally. Instead of climbing out of the abyss, they're diving deeper into despair.
Come on! Attack! Fight against the sadness Arctics!
The third reason is that there is no clear path forward. Do you want to be in a relationship? Well, you better gain some confidence and get used to being rejected. Do you want a job that you won't hate? Go to college and then get into an intense amount of debt while you figure it out. Do you want therapy? Get ready to pay a lot of money if you don't have insurance. I'm not diminishing therapy at all here. I suggest it for everyone. Unfortunately, in the US, most people can't afford random medical bills. How are they supposed to afford $150 an hour to talk to someone? And I'm skeptical of online therapy at this point. Where does one look to find advice on how to be a man, on what it means to be a man, on what a man needs to become to feel useful and fulfilled in our world? Unfortunately, the loudest people catch the most attention. The personas who don't really care if they're villainized. The people who will be there to give advice other than just do it, just be better, who won't shut you down for asking questions. Even if it's a scam, it's a readily open path telling young men that they are good people and that there's nothing inherently wrong with them.
One of us, one of us. Gobble, gobble.
The Fight Club gives men a purpose, a reason, just like the pickup artists do. Not a healthy purpose or reason, obviously, but that might very well be the fourth reason behind Tate's success. There's a tendency among a lot of people to become hyper-focused on a topic. Even I fall under this with storytelling, but we all have to keep our tendencies under control. There's more to the world than the one or two things that you care about the most. That's why I try to branch out, have multiple hobbies, have family and friends, connections ready to go, get out of the obsession. And unfortunately, there is no clear answer to all of these issues. No one path works for everyone. We're all individuals. There are plenty of self-help books and videos out there to give some guidance, but it's not like those are mind-blowing. They're basic. They don't tell a man how to find a partner, how to figure out what they want out of life, and what it truly means to be a man. And unfortunately, the correct paths are not flashy and idealized. There isn't hundreds of expensive cars or mansions or dozens of clearly paid women fawning over someone. The fake image that people like with Andrew Tate and Tyler Durden are just that. They're fake, not real.
All that glitters is not gold.
Fight Club actually presents the real answer at the end of the movie. People just tend to ignore it. Toss away the fake ideals that you cling to. Be your own person. Decide what being a man, or whatever gender you are, means to you. These fake personas are just a weight holding you down and making you miserable. Decide your principles and follow them. It's hard. There are a lot of people trying to sell what they want you to be, but you have to be your own person. All of this isn't to say that mentors are a bad thing. There's no reason you shouldn't look up to people for guidance. I admire Steve Harvey as an inspiration. The same thing with Brandon Sanderson or Keanu Reeves, and those are just the famous people. I know plenty of men in my life that gave me guidance and taught me how to be the person that I am today. Sure, they're not flawless. It's important to remember that. It's also important to find mentors that recognize their flaws and are honest about them. It's the big difference between someone trying to help you and someone trying to scam you.
The ripoff won't give you rashes. I repeat, it won't give you rashes. It gave you rashes.
And if I were to give advice on what a young man should do, it would be simple. 1. Exercise. Find a healthy sport, activity, or gym. Work out 3 to 4 times a week. It'll help every single aspect of your life feel healthier. 2. Don't go into debt unless you absolutely have to. It's literally a trap. If you don't know what to do with your life and your schooling is expensive, take time to figure it out. Maybe even try a trade. I can promise you that plumbers and electricians will never be out of a job within our lifetime. Then, if you decide that you want to start a career that needs a degree, such as in STEM or law, try to make it as cheap as possible. Debt is bad. Trust me, my wife constantly says how grateful she is that I didn't bring any debt into our marriage. But if your schooling is paid for by someone else, then there's no reason to worry about all of this. 3. If you want to be in a romantic relationship, you have to put yourself in awkward situations where you will be rejected. You will hear no a lot. If you have a hard time even saying hi to someone, practice that at first. Approach a woman in an environment that she'll feel safe. Say hi. Compliment something about her, or ask Ask her a simple question, then walk away. Slowly build up your confidence from that until you can ask a woman out. Before I started dating my wife, I just went up to women that I thought might say yes, said that I would regret not speaking with them, and asked if they wanted to go for coffee. All no's, of course, but it built up my communication ability and confidence around women in time for me to meet my wife. 4. Find your passions, learn new things, and read. Figure out what you care about and who you are. Hone your abilities. Perhaps even try to make a side hustle out of what you're good at. It can be whatever. You could even just love trains. I follow a guy on social media that just loves going to see trains, and it works for him. Be you. You will find people that appreciate you. But then we get to number 5, have a detox week. Be ready to drop any habit for a week solid to prove that you're not addicted to it. Your hobbies are there to benefit you, not the other way around. Before I met my wife, I did this every year with, well, like I said, it's not anything glamorous, and there are millions of small suggestions that I could give. Learn to clean, learn to cook, learn more about communication, read philosophy, meditate, learn to admit when you make a mistake, and so on and so forth. It's really the combination of small things that slowly improves you into a more well-rounded individual. Be your own person. Don't take the wrong lessons from Fight Club or Andrew Tate. Tyler Durden is fake. He's not real. He may seem cool, but trying to be this caricature of a Chad will only make you look like Andrew Tate is now. Arrested for trafficking people, be known for abusing people, and posting waifu memes on Twitter. Be yourself. I can guarantee you that you're cooler than any imaginary friend could ever be. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and to keep the discussion going in the comment section. And please consider giving my books Above Heaven, Dance of Frozen Death, and Vows of Blood and Honor, which will be released in September, a chance. I appreciate you. Do not despair.